Hey everyone! So today I decided to use AI to create a picture. I just wanted to see what it would come up with. So the prompt I used was a violin maker in an old workshop in Europe. It took a little while and then it came up with this. Now at first first impressions, you glance at it and yeah, looks a bit like it. And then I looked a little bit closer and it was kind of interesting. So let's examine the picture. So yes, the guy is wearing an apron. That looks good. He's pretty old. He's a bit older than me. Maybe if if my hair goes a bit grey and I grow a big bushy Santa beard, then it might start looking a little bit more like that. But, so let's have a look here at the violins for starters. There's a whole lot of violins, small violins, normal violins, something viola-like, and a cello. On first glances, they all look like cheap factory instruments, because they all have that identical sheen. They have the identical finish. And it's the kind of finish they used to use for cheap kind of factory instruments. But then you look a little bit closer at the instruments. Now the violins hanging at the back left, they look kind of, very unusual sizes, but they're kind of okay. There's some with chin rests, and then there's one with a very strange chin rest, and the F-holes are really weird. And then you look at the two instruments that he's working on, and there's something a little bit wrong with the proportions. Take a look at that F-hole of the violin on the bottom right. They've all got similar tailpieces. And then you look at the other violin, the one he's actually working on. It's not a violin. It's not even a viola. It's like a mini cello or something. But it's got a chin rest. And it's got like this tiny chin rest. And then have a look at the cello at the back right. Yes, it's got a chin rest as well. And what's with the F-holes? They're really squished up against the edges. There's a real problem with the shape of the whole thing. It's crazy. So all the instruments are a bit weird. And then you look a little bit closer. Now, the ones hanging on the back left, they look like they've been almost cut and pasted out of other pictures. But the ones down the front there, the tail pieces look really strange. They don't quite look right. Yes, and then the cello, of course, with a chin rest. Let's have a little bit of a look around the workshop. So, I'm a violin maker. Behind me, you can see my violin making workshop. You see a few jars, more jars. There's my glue bubbling away in the background. You got a bunch of tools just up here. There's some of my gouges, my chisels. If you look here, you can see my little rack with like files and various other tools, a peg reamer. You look, hang on, back here, and you can see that I've got a lot of my jars, and I've got my little cabinet with various other tools and parts that I need. So that's my workshop. And I repair violins. So let's have a little look at his workshop. Look over his left shoulder. So he's got a series of spoons. Now, let me just say, right now, we don't use spoons for violin repair. I do use a spoon that's my little glue jar here, and I've got a tiny spoon in there to spoon the glue into the other jar. See, I've got a little cut-off spoon that sits in there, but that's probably about the only spoon I have in my workshop, unless I'm having lunch, which I don't have in my workshop. So he's got a series of spoons there. Okay, let's have a little bit more of a look. There are some very strange tools. I can't quite work them out. Indistinguishable bits of wood with stuff on it. But there really is no real violin making tools. Now look over his, towards the left of the picture, over his right shoulder. There's like these lengthy things hanging up, but they're kind of indistinguishable. There's like a little gauge back there, but it seems to have like a big connector with some kind of long thing. There's like a box. I can't see a single tool in the picture. I'm looking very carefully. I can actually not see a single tool that I would use. If you look on his workbench, there look to be like some mortar and pestles full of wood shavings, and then there's little piles of wood shavings everywhere. But the work that he's doing isn't actually creating any wood shavings. There are some tools right in the front. There's sort of a hammer, like a mallet. I would not really recommend using a mallet on instruments unless they are VSOs, which are violin-shaped objects, which most of the instruments look in there, and you're trying to do the world a favor by making sure that no one ever has to play the thing. There are so many. There's like something with a long handle. What tool is he holding himself? He's holding something, but he also has 6 fingers, just in case you're wondering. Yes, that's right, 6 fingers, because every good violin maker has to have 6 fingers. It's actually the secret of Stradivarius. Stradivarius, now this is going to be revolutionary. This is a big call. And it's going to change the violin making world. But Stradivarius had 6 fingers. 6 fingers, that's why his instruments were so incredibly good. He couldn't have done it with just 5 fingers per hand. No, 6. And that's the secret of Stradivarius right here. You heard it first, right here on Ask Olaf the Violin Maker. Stradivarius had 6 fingers. Now, what is that strange tool he's holding, and what is he even doing with the strange tool? Very hard to work out. He seems to be poking himself in the left hand with some kind of poking device, and then part of it seems to be sticking into the F-hole at a very strange angle. Also, I have to say that his left hand, which only has 5 fingers, it's good to know, seems to be really old. I don't know, maybe he's left-handed and he's been polishing too much, so the polish got on his hands and the hand just became really old. Okay, what else have we got here? Oh man, there is so much wrong with this picture. The instruments towards the top left, yes, they could pass as violins, but they don't look like very expensive violins. On the right-hand side looks like a cello with a chin rest. So it must be played up here. The other violins just don't look particularly nice. I'm only just working on this, but that's what a nicer violin looks like. This is my Pierre Lamont Master violin. I am actually getting ready to do my master setup on these instruments. But yes, so the violins don't look very good. They look cheap. There is not a single tool in the whole picture that could be classified as a violin maker's workshop tool. The instruments are hanging amongst the tools, which is kind of not a very smart thing to do. I like to keep mine separate up above. Yeah, so none of the tools are real. The wood shavings look somewhat realistic. And, the maker, he's wearing an apron and everything, but he looks a little bit more like Santa Claus on a day off. Yes, so the bench at the back kind of looks interesting, like it looks like that could be in a violin workshop, but like really nothing else. AI, you got it wrong. Big AI fail. Anyway, I just thought that was a bit of fun. I had a bit of fun with it. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. It was just a bit of a laugh. You know what a real workshop looks like. This is my workshop. It's total chaos, like his workshop a little bit. But they are real tools that I really use for violin making. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. Make sure you subscribe to my channel and hit the little bell so you hear every time I post a new video. Very important. And keep making beautiful music. Don't use AI for music or for photos. it doesn't work. Thanks for watching, everyone. Bye.